Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. The worst has happened. I don't know if INEC can survive this one. USA, National Demographic Coalition, rejects INEC results. Asking INEC, prove to us how you come by this result. According to them, earlier in the process, the result was being uploaded and somehow, perhaps somebody saw it's not going in his direction. They pulled it down. Hey, INEC shot itself on the foot. Oh my God. Now look at what they are saying. Just like in mathematics, there are processes through getting the final results. The examiner wants you to prove how you come by the final result. They ask you 1 plus 10 plus 20 minus 30 plus this is equals to maybe 80. You are not just asked to give the result. You are asked to, how did you arrive at 80? You remember, each process carries a mark. So what they are asking INEC now is to prove how you arrive at that result. And this will be the most difficult task. So they are rejecting the results. This is a credible organization that wants to see that things are right. Meanwhile, let me play the video before we come back to review what they said.
And the process of this election in the 2023 Nigerian presidential elections appears to be fundamentally flawed. We believe, NADECO believes, that the February 25 to 26, 2023 election, the results, the hasty announcement of the results, are fundamentally at odds with the Nigerian election laws. And as Dr. Ogebi said very clearly, they didn't just violate rules, they violated their own laws. INEC glorified their efforts to make this the cleanest, the purest, the most transparent and fair election in Nigerian history, in African history. And yet they violated every single fundamental tenet in every single law. They instituted the bimodal voter accreditation system. You've heard about that, the BVAS. All that is, make no mistake about it, there's a lot on the internet that seems to people want to believe that when you voted with the BVAS that recorded your vote and your vote was sent somewhere and it went to a server and it was tabulated and somehow Tinubu or the APC were able to hijack that electronic signal. That's not what happened. It was more pernicious than that. It was more old-fashioned than that. All the BVAS does was gave you two modes of identification, both your card, you put your voting card, your PVC in, and it also did your fingerprint and face identification. But it failed. And the reason BVAS was important is so that people couldn't vote more than once. Vote early, vote often. The reason it's important is so people could not vote that had fake cards. And on the issue of the PVC cards, INEC announced, this is INEC themselves, said that there were 87.2 million PVC cards collected. That was out of 93 million registered voters. So approximately 6 million people were registered. They just didn't bother to get their voting card. No one knows why. It just happens. But what's fascinating is, if you consider it true that 87.2 million people had PVC voting cards and could have voted, the declared winner of this election received 8.7 million votes. Now, out of 87 million, the math's not real hard. That means that Mr. Tinubu got 10% of the vote. He will be ruling the wealthiest economy in Africa with a mandate of 10% of the population. That's extraordinary. Something is seriously wrong. Something is seriously wrong. Additionally, we believe that what has to happen and why we're here today, and NADECO is leading the charge, we believe that INEC has to prove itself. It has to prove the results it announced were true and were real. There are 176,600 polling stations. That's a lot of polling stations. INEC's rules required each polling station to collect the votes, count the votes, and they do it the old-fashioned way. They get the paper votes, they count them, they put them in stacks for each primary candidates.
That would have produced
they were to gather those results, publish the local results, and then transmit the results, and ultimately they would go to Abuja and be certified. Well, what happened was they published some of the results early on, and then they took them down. And so what they have is something that looks a little bit like this, scribbling, when it used to look like this, where it was written. Someone didn't like the results. That's what appears to have happened. Dr. Ogebe observed it happening. So what we have is vote rigging, vote buying, and bribery. So despite INEC's efforts, nothing good happened. And we're back to the same old thing, the same old efforts. So what do we do? What do we do in the United States? What do we do as members of the diaspora? What do we do as international attorneys or international law folks? What do we do to ensure democracy can thrive? That the promise of 1960 can come true again, hopefully. Well, we are asking that INEC throw open the curtains and let the full light of truth come in to prove the transparency and the veracity of the results they've announced. If the results are true, they should be able to prove it. It is absolutely not extraordinary to ask them to prove it. Show me your math. Yes. We've all gone to school. Show me your math. You've got a number. Show me how you got to that number.
Yes.
Prove what you did. There can be no debate that the initial investigations indicate that they were savaged. The rules were savaged. The rights of the electorate were savaged. It was polluted by blatant and widespread corruption. As Dr. Lloyd said, the four horsemen of democracy's doom, bribery, intimidation, insecurity, and vote rigging, appeared to trot and run roughshod all over the nation. They were harnessed to skew the results. We, NADECO, call upon the people of Nigeria to act peacefully, but to demand that proof be provided to them, that INEC prove the results they've announced. We also call upon the international community to join together with the Nigerian judiciary in a concerted effort to condemn and set aside the hastily announced results, and instead proceed with the solemn seriousness this deserves. Again, one of the world's great nations is at peril here, continues to be at peril here. We need to make sure we don't continue to turn our back on Nigeria. And what we're asking for is very simple. Prove to us. Prove. NADECO says prove to us that if there is a Nigeria and there is a democracy in Nigeria, that it was arrived at lawfully and in accordance with the rule of law. The continuation of power by the ruling party is a wholesale disenfranchisement of Nigeria without more. That is little more than a dictatorship. And it's a new dictatorship, but it is nonetheless a dictatorship because it's imposed apparently against the will of the people.
Did you have that? Prove how you arrive at that number. Mathematics is not just about giving us a final answer. There are processes, and each process is carried mark by the examiner. So prove to us how you arrive at that. Let's review what the man from NADECO said. NADECO, National Demographic Collection, not the Nigerian NADECO. Okay? Now he says, INEC has to prove itself. Prove the result now. If you're sure of what you uploaded, that is not doctored, that is not something that has been arranged from time, prove it. And there is where INEC shot itself at the leg. It's so obvious that there was an earlier upload of the results, real time, based on what this man said. But perhaps it's not going in the direction of the rig, the person who wants to win. And they quickly stopped and removed the uploaded ones. Can you imagine? INEC told Nigerians results will be uploaded real time. Okay, they did that with the Senate and House of Reps. Somehow, the presidential, which is the key, refused to go. There is a virus attacking the presidential results. That is, they say glitches. Glitches how? They say glitches how? The result were attacked. Only the presidential. He said there is a hacking attempt, but they were not successful in hacking it. And the other ones went, the presidential. It was going, and somehow INEC is here to tell Nigerians the truth. So this is the worst election so far in a country that most countries are looking up to. Anyway, I don't know the countries that are looking up to Nigeria's democracy to grow. I don't know. Because such country, how can the blind lead the blind? If you're looking in this towards Nigerian direction, you'll fail unless something starts coming out from now. Like Peter Obi said, he said the judges will begin to do well. He must get justice, and maybe from that time, prove to us the result, INEC. Show us the answer. Now, there is something again the white man noted. He said, if you're thinking maybe somebody from the APC team manipulated this result, no, that it wasn't that or just that. There is a plan from start. The plan, the rigging has been prearranged. It's not something that, maybe during the election they saw what happened and no. They have planned this very well that if this begin to go this way, they never thought Labour Party will pull such weight. So after the surprise, they started the plan that had been hatched before. But these guys they are not wise. They rigged themselves out. That is the problem. INEC rigged themselves out. It's just like you're plotting against somebody, or you set a trap that caught you. You set a trap for an animal, it caught you. High level of corruption. All INEC was doing, based on what we've seen, was whatever must be done at that moment to make it go to APC candidate Tinubu. That is what was done. The moment they realize almost every polling unit in major cities will be, they realize this is what is going on. They begin to work towards making it not happen for Obi. Look at what happened in River State. They are still coming to that. And I think it's high time they start punishing people who are involved in electoral fraud. Most of these people need to go to jail. And this is not the type of jail we used to. Jail terms that are longer jail terms. That when you remember about rigging, even in your dream, you wake up quickly. When you think about rigging, you will have a nightmare. INEC would have been, this system would have been copied worldwide. Can you imagine a system whereby people, the votes are counted at the polling units, all the representative of the parties will sign, and maybe it's possible they will snap their copies. They will note down. Then the beavers that is used to accredit voters will also be used to transmit it to INEC portal. And real time, people will see the results. And people can be able to confirm this is what we got at the polling units. But INEC left that. INEC would have been respected. INEC chairman would have been receiving awards if he had succeeded in doing it the right way. But they bent it. like the white man said and everybody knew, they contravene their own laws. And they are bound with Nigerians by this law. Everybody held on to this law. The election will count and this is how it will be done. We will vote. Many people participated. And look at what they are giving us. We no go agree. We no go agree. We can never accept that result. And I'm telling all Nigerians never to accept that result. We don't accept that result. You cannot impose anything on us. Viewers, what do you think? This is where I'll round up on this one. Waiting my eye don't see. Inside Nigeria. They think they will continue doing this and it will continue like that. Can you imagine each time? Oh, go to court and settle it. Despite that, there were barrages of complaints to INEC chairman, who is the overall returning officer. These things happen, these things happen. When Don announced the result, he went further. Just like in the Bible said, offense must come. Yes, we've seen it. Offense must come. But now, woe unto whom through offense comes. Woe unto that man. Woe unto that man. Electoral fraud is against the law. Anybody involved should be jailed. This is where I'm signing out. Please, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. Bye-bye for now.